Mic check 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 3 4. Perfect. Thank you, Core. We will be live momentarily. We're just doing some last moment checks. Thank you, everyone. let's just make sure y'all can hear me. Started. Last check. Road. Alrighty. Hey! Welcome back, everyone. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Welcome to Mapmaker Monday. Every Monday, across our various stream platforms, we host a map-making stream called Mapmaker Monday, where I build a map in real time. You can give feedback, suggestions, and watch and learn. And, just generally vibe and hang out with our community. So if you have any questions about what you see in front of you or related to Dungeon Alchemist, feel free to let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm trying to monitor chat across our various platforms. We are live right now on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, a little bit of everywhere. So please bear with us as we do our best to monitor your chats, answer your questions, and just generally have fun. So for those of you just tuning in and you're not sure what you're looking at, this is your first stream. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making program that is available on Steam, and it allows you to build very intricate, beautiful fantasy setting maps in a few clicks using our proprietary AI, or you can build everything by hand. And when I say AI, I want you to know that our AI was developed 100% in-house. It's not generative AI, nor did we scrape any public data, art, maps, assets, anything like that. So it was all made and 100% developed in-house. And all of our assets were created in-house as well. So we took an ethical approach, and we feel like our AI is used in the most positive way possible. Moving on. If you do have any questions related to Dungeon Alchemist, feel free to let me know. Just want to say welcome to our various platforms. So we've got Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and whatnot. If you are enjoying the stream and getting the feed through right now, please let me know so we can verify. Oh, nice, Deku. Did they enjoy it? Good to hear. How's everyone's weekend? Did you have a good weekend, and did you do anything interesting? Yeah, no longer a chat scroll in the Steam window. You can thank Twitch for that. I really, really wanted that to be there, but unfortunately they have a policy restricting it while multi-streaming. So. Oh, hey, Artful Darkness, how you doing? It's a bummer. I wish we had it. Hey, Gluton and Magic Flame. So, Magic Flame from YouTube asks, how did you make the tower have 2 floors? Well, technically it has 3 floors. But well, 4, really. And it will have more than that. But how I did this is by stacking objects, which has been something you could do in Dungeon Alchemist by hand for, close to 2 years now. Well, a year and a half. And essentially all it is I disable collisions. When you disable collisions, not only does it allow you to move objects close to each other, normally you'd get like a little red feedback in the UI trying to put objects into each other. When collisions are disabled, you can merge objects together, but it also it unlocks a few other secondary behaviors. One of them is it allows you to scale objects down and up pretty much to whatever size you want. If it wasn't locked to begin with, you can pretty much scale it up or down, infinitely. The other behavior is that objects now can be raised up and down. We added this little number feedback in the last update, but you could still move it up and down prior to the update. So essentially what I do to make multi-stories is a combination of utilizing that fact that I can raise objects up and down. So like this is my base floor, and then I wrapped some round walls that we have around it. And here, I'll just pull this one apart to show you. So I was actually going to decorate this floor today. But each floor is kind of its own section that can be pulled apart and separated and navigated as a token. But we have the base floor, which is kind of like the hearth, kitchen, food, storage area. And then you go up to the second floor, which is the study, kind of like workshop area. And then the third floor here is going to be the bedroom. Each of these are a combination of objects that are available either in this menu by stock. Under the structural menu, there's a whole bunch of round, like walls, round floor panels. One of our community members, sorry, my nose is itchy. I feel like I've got cat fur. Swedish Cook is one of our very talented community members, Mapmakers, and he made a few assets recently and shared them on the workshop. There is a collection of them, if you look here, under the collections in the asset browser. And there are tower building assets, so they supplement it to help you build towers easier. There's some, platforms with round cutouts, square cutouts, curved stair cutouts, various stairs to fit into them. Some of the walls with cutouts, bump outs, etc. So these help assist that, but I use those in tandem with the stock assets to really get this vibe. You do have snap points on objects, Michael Kerman. Almost every object has snap points. If you hold control, it'll snap. If it doesn't have a default snap, it will. And just so you know, actually, if you look in the object menu, down here it says control, toggle snap to grid on the left side. And it says shift to place multiple objects. So both of these are functions within the object menu. If an object auto snaps, holding control disables the snapping. If an object doesn't snap, control will snap it to that. Is there a chance an all walls on map get changed or an all floor tiles? That already exists, Alaska. I'm really confused by that statement. I'm confused. So in a normal map, like you could change all walls or massive change walls. I'm pretty sure. No worries, it's easy to miss. I wish these were up at the top, if I'm being honest. They'd be a lot easier to see. So yeah, if you could elaborate on that, Alaska, I'd like to know. So Alaska asks, is there any chance there will be an all walls on map get changed or an all floor tiles get changed? Here, let me save this. You mean every single wall simultaneously, not just the room? Is that what you're saying? Artful Darkness, so I'm sure you were listening in as we were discussing how the tower was made. I hope I was pretty clear there. Sorry. stream not showing. Steam. Mm-hmm. Oh, the broadcast. So if you go into the wall tool on this panel here, change all walls in room, change wall, place wall, remove wall, right? So this tool here, you can pick the wall you want to swap. So let's say I wanted all these to be stone. Notice how it's changing all the exterior walls in this segment because they're all kind of linked. Probably would have to do the insides individually. Yeah. But it is quite possible to change entire segments. So under the wall tool, you can, this is a really powerful tool. You can add walls to rooms. So let's say you want to segment off a portion of the room, right? And make a little corner area. Remember, you need walls to add doors. So if you want a little room within the room, you can do that, like a closet or a latrine or something. You know what I mean? So you can add walls, you can remove walls. This is a brush, which is really nice. So you can just like erase segments really quickly. Or you can change all walls simultaneously. This is a great tool if you want to just change the whole segment, like by dragging. It's pretty quick too. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, still, you can change entire rooms at once. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to change the entire map at once, but that is a good suggestion for our upvote. Technically, it changed all of these for me outside because they're considered one room on the outside. Little irritated because our Steam stream isn't functioning, and I don't know why. Will you keep an eye on it? Say Sue, and if it pops up, just let me know. The news page says it's live. You can click on it. That's frustrating. So, Caribbean Dungeon on TikTok asks, can you save the map story by story, or is it just a top-down view? So while building, you can get into all sorts of intricate views. You also have a camera options for cinematic, like a drone camera that you can get in all sorts of angles, high up, down low, etc. for various angles. And you have a token view camera, which you can place a camera token down anywhere on a map and walk around in the first person view. The cinematic and first person views can be recorded or screenshot. There is a little option for it in the UI at the top there. F for a screenshot, R to record, escape to back out. When you do that, it actually, saves locally on your computer, and then you could use those as handouts or scenes for your players. When you export as a map, though, yes, it does export as a top-down. Now, this building, I've designed it in layers so I can pull it apart and export each layer as a new map. So ultimately, my plan when I'm done is to, pull off the top layer, file, save as floor 4, file, save as floor 3, file, save as floor 2. And so I'll have them all as the same map with each floor as an export. And that will allow me to use those as scenes in a top-down VTT, which the vast majority of VTTs are a top-down scenario. It's probably just Steam being Steam. That's the only explanation I have for it at the moment. Alaska, but yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have a better answer for you earlier. Please definitely check out the upvotey. Place a suggestion there, or upvote ones that are relevant to your cause. Probably the best route to go. It would be cool to, just like the erase tool for doors, if we had the paint tool for doors, instead of change wall like one at a time, you could paint over an area with a huge brush and just like quickly get an entire area. I think loading the entire map might cause DA to crash, because if it has to grasp a whole lot of walls at once, it definitely has issues, at least in our current builds that I'm aware of. That's something I've seen it have issues with, but it is what it is. Okay, so yeah, no problem, Caribbean. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I'll be glad to answer. So this actually is designed to be pulled apart. I've got multiple floors, and it is completely navigable in first person. So you could say, walk through it in first person, take a tour, then give that, video to your players if they are coming to this place. Token's a little large. I gotta shrink it down. I made it a little bit too big there. It's a little bit more royal. I like my little workshop area. I need some cool formulas for these that are like chalk. White chalk. So it looks like an authentic chalkboard. Some neat alchemical formulas and math formulas. So it just kind of looks like maybe like a beautiful mind, or like one of those crazy walls, but without all the string, just full of formulas. Anyway, I want to focus on fleshing out this floor today, so I think that's going to be the plan. I kind of was looking at magic items earlier in the week and was trying to decide which ones I thought would be fun for this room. There's a lot of neat things that would fit well from the update. There's some neat magical furniture and other items that come. Yeah, no problem, Cronclor. If you have any questions or, need any guidance in building your own maps, please let us know. Something like this would be really cool in this room. I think that would be neat. Real question, should I put a flesh end table? It's quite a cursed item, but I like it. Seisu says no. Let's see. Thank you for the likes, Bryce. Much appreciated. Well, thank you, Croncler. I'm glad to hear it. That's really nice to hear. Our the dev team works tirelessly to really deliver on these updates, and when y'all give feedback like that, it means the world to them. I'll be sure to pass it on. This update in particular was a lot of stuff that needed to be done to really bring Magic to the market, and is like a solid and usable update that we felt was functional and deserving of our community. I didn't say it. I didn't have to say it. Somebody else said it for me. Quentin, it can if you export as a video. So Quentin on Twitch asks, does the lava water keep its animation, lava/water keep its animation when imported to Foundry? So what he's meaning, there is liquids in DA, so let's use some lava here. We'll put a little lava pit just right here for right now. Notice how that's animated? That animation can be exported. These little flies, the trees moving, water, all of those things, lighting, those are animated, and that can be exported to a couple of VTTs on the market. We offer animated exports for Foundry, so you're in luck there. If you go to Export and select the Foundry tab, so under Foundry, you have all these different file type options. So JPEG is the standard. Change it. MP4 is really only for smaller maps, so like even here it says it's too big. So it wouldn't even work for this, and this is a tiny map. So I would recommend going WebM. WebM very slow, WebM low quality. Now, keep this in mind when exporting a video map, and this is very, very crucial. It's very important, and I don't say this lightly. You need to export at 72 DPI. Why? A video file is exponentially larger than a still image. You're going, multiple frames per second instead of one frame. And then, if you scale up to, say, 150 or 300 DPI, the map file size gets even larger. So, if it's a WebM file that's 300 DPI, it could be upward of a gig. Foundry has file size limits, resolution limits, and they recommend exporting at 72 DPI even for still maps, because it's more likely your players will load the map without issues. More than likely in your group of players, there's bound to be one player with either an older machine that just doesn't run that great, or one player that, say, has, maybe poor internet or throttled internet, like a limited or bad data connection. And if that is the case, a small data file or map means they're more likely to load it. So the same thing with video. Set it to low quality WebM. Try it on, regular WebM to see, but depending on the size of the map, like if it's a very big map, I go low quality. If it's a standard size, I go WebM. And then I'll export at 72 DPI. When you export these, even with my powerful machine, I'm just gonna test this really quick. And this is just a 30-second loop. I think part of the problem is how the UI lays itself out in DA. And I think we're partially to blame for this. Bane, I think, I know you're joking, but the thing is very, very often I have to debate this very crucial portion of our export with our community members and members of chat and, even the devs. I argued and I pleaded for them to change the labeling on the export menu in this update. Why? Because the way it's labeled, it messes with your head. It's a mind bender. Low quality, you see low quality, you're like, I don't want low quality. Okay, but realistically, that should be VTT standard. Okay, that's standard quality. Exactly. So you read low, and it reads bad, right? And then you see high quality, you're like, well, I could just upgrade to high quality or very high quality for free. Why wouldn't I do that? My players are going to love this, right? Wrong. More than likely, one of them will hate it because they can't load it. The rest will probably not really notice otherwise between the DPIs. And I say this very lovingly and without any, I've never heard of a player actively complain about a map that was exported at 72 DPI. So I think ultimately doing that is a good thing to do. Hey, Sandez, thank you for the like over on TikTok. Much appreciated. We're talking about export guidelines and how I feel this verbiage should be Low quality. Oh, that's a good idea, Cronkler. Fastest. Well, it could also say fastest next to it as a bonus, you know, slowest here. Because, yeah, you see here, even, you know, this low quality export or whatever I did is taking for... It takes a while. It does need to say standard or VTT standard, VTT high, VTT ultra, okay? The problem is Roll20 has very, very, very limited file sizes. So I think their max file size is 20 megabytes, Centimar. And so what that does for you as a DM is it limits your capacity. Okay, so that file that we just did, right? That one's 46.5 megabytes. So the problem is they are so limited that this video here, even at, I'm pretty sure we just exported at 72 DPI, right? Gosh, I can't remember what we just did. Was it 72 DPI? Yeah, see, we're double the thresholds that Roll20 offers, which in my opinion need to be bumped up. There are some workarounds with like plugins and stuff, but I can't really guide you on that because I don't know. You're gonna have to do some research on that. That being said, what you would do if you wanted to export for Roll20, I would just export the map twice. Roll20 for the first one. That'll give you the still map, which you'll just set aside as a backup, and the script, which is very important. The script gives all the wall data, the lighting data, line of sight information. Then export again as a video export. And then, you know, get that down to, you know, WebM, low quality. Let's try it and see what this does. Right next to it. Yeah, Lord Rev, I agree. It also just needs to say, you know, VTT standard quality, fastest. VTT, you know, high quality, medium. VTT ultra quality, slowest. Not recommended. But at Centimar, man, I wish Roll20 had better options. So anyway, you export the video. You use the video as the map layer, and then you import the script for all the data. So you got both. And then you have the backup of the solitary map as a still. Set up another scene with that just in case things go wonky on Roll20. Now, ultimately, you can export a video like this and condense it. Like if you use something to compress the file, you know, there's all sorts of video compressors that can shrink the file size down while not degrading quality overwhelmingly too much. You might be able to try and get it under that 20 megabyte limit. I think, you know, given what you get with an export, Lord Rev, it's not bad, you know. A 30-second animated 3D environment that loops pretty seamlessly, except for maybe like effects that you've added. It's pretty good. Yeah, so as VTTs get upgraded and standardized, the thing is like, I feel that COVID, like the pandemic, really shined a light on VTTs and allowed them to shine for the first time and really be used in mass. Prior to that, they were used like as a niche type thing, and then they blew up overnight because people wanted to play games online because they had to, right? And now they're getting a lot of treatment to make them better, to operate better within their confinements. They're getting upgrades to their systems. They're, you know, all across the board. Like Foundry, for instance, has done a lot of work And so is Fantasy Grounds. Roll20 has as well. All across the board, they've done tons. I just think, you know, some areas they're focusing on different things. Okay, let's play this low quality one here. Still looks great. Still looks great. Let's look at the size. 15 megabytes. So that would come in under the limit. You know, Fridge Macaro, that's a great suggestion, actually. It would be a great, you know, great idea if we could calculate that and give you an idea. As we're in early access, there's a lot of aspects of Dungeon Alchemist that, you know, seem to need, like, very subtle improvements to make it more final and feel like more, you know, full. And I think that would be a great, you know, thing to add, file sizes to the export. I definitely agree that the export menu needs an overhaul, both in the labeling and whatnot. But anyway. This map is 40 by 40. And by the way, on export now, you can trim it down. Let's see here. When you export, there is another export option for no border. So you could go small borders, so it's a 2 by 2 border, or you could go no borders, so it's flush. So you could even trim it down that way too to get the file size a little bit less. Honestly, we haven't done much building today, but I am very happy with teaching just as much as I am building, because me answering questions and discussing these techniques and options with y'all is just as important. Bradley Thompson at... oh, thank you, Atlam. Bradley Thompson over on YouTube asks, why isn't putting an empty picture into a green screen block to make it invisible a default feature? Well, you know, that's a good question. I feel like because it makes it invisible, so it kind of makes it hard to grab. Now, that being said, let's say you had a ton of green screen that you wanted to change all at once to invisible. You know, I have a workaround or a trick for you if you're interested in that. Now, what Bradley is asking? Cool. Steam works. I'm going to refresh that. We'll keep an eye on the chat. Did you see the new little bumpers on the outside of the stream? You know, I would focus on each district as a separate map, personally. That would be my approach. Oof. One moment. Trying to get all the stream chats up. I think I'm just going to have to flip through them to keep an eye on it. Can you keep an eye on Steam for me? Seisu, and I'll keep an eye on TikTok. Okay. So, Caillou. So each district, and depending on the size of the district, you may even want to split the districts. So 4,900 people, give or take, you know... Let's assume you have, you know, 3 to 5 people per home, right? Some more, depending on the layout or, like, how people design their estates. There could be way more, you know, if they have servants, staff, and stuff like that, or if it's large extended families in one home. You know, you're looking at hundreds of homes. So depending on that situation, if it were me, in your shoes, I would break each district off into its own segment and then maybe split those districts into like quarters or halves. Why I say that is if you build the district all as one piece, you could split it in half very easily. I'm going to show you all a trick. I'm just going to move this roof off to the side. So let's say I wanted to split this map in half. For all intents and purposes, I'm going to make sure the map is saved first. I have that whole district built, and let's say the district as one piece is just messing your computer up, or the export's too large for your players. Grab DA on the corner. There's these little chevrons here. See these bad boys? These things are really cool. They tell you the size of the map, but it allows you to also extend or contract the map. So in this case, I could, like, I'm going to bring it up right to the edge of that wall of this tower. Hopefully it doesn't delete the tower. And it cuts that part of the map off. So essentially I could file save as, you know, portion 2, portion 1, Control Z to undo. Guess what? It's back. Then do the other way, and then file save as. So assuming, so you have ways to split a big map up if you already have it built. But if I were in your shoes, maybe kind of get an idea of what the district would look like on paper, or like maybe with a quick, you know, random city generator. Use that as an overlay, and then use DA to map it out, because you can rotate all the buildings and whatnot. And then, yeah, just kind of, depending on how big each district or how dense it is, I'm assuming your slum districts are going to have a lot more people in them, so you're going to need to have a lot more houses, which means a lot more assets. You got to think of those kind of things proactively. There is a city generator that does that. What is it called? Someone told me about it. Whatabout does some stuff like that, and then it's a great like basis as a trace to use in DA. Okay. Hey, Bradley, thank you so much. So Bradley, and I don't need to toot my own horn, but that means a lot. So Bradley over on YouTube says, I would like to say that I've been watching for a while now, and you're an awesome community manager. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Honestly, that means a lot. I've been working my butt off lately, and you know, a little bit of praise goes a long way. Thank you. Means a lot. I'm hoping that some stuff we have in the near future, y'all will very much enjoy it. And so stay tuned. We have giveaways. We have some cool things community-wise planned. Annika, is it Annika? And also we had Quentin and Patrico in the last half hour. Thank you so much for the follows. Much appreciated on Twitch. Much appreciated. And then we also had some likes. Kevin Sieber on Facebook. Much appreciated for that like. By the way, Round Room, so excited. Right, Lord Rev? Have you played with them a bunch, or not that much? What's everyone's impression now that the update's been out for a few days? It's been out 5 days, not even a week yet. What is your first impressions of the update? Now that you can do round and diagonal rooms, raise rooms up and down, like, what's your impressions, your first impressions? Let's hear it. I think I'm going to move this over here. I'm gonna rotate the bed so it like fits perfectly in that opening. Way I can make it larger. I'm curious how you would rate the update. Hey, Phil, thank you so much. So Phil on TikTok says, Dungeon Alchemist is goated with the sauce. I haven't messed with the new update, but it was already goat. Thank you, appreciate it. I mean, if you put a roof, an object roof in, it definitely can. Let me show you what I mean. So let's see. Lord Rev says, I've been playing with them first. Let's see. If only first person view showed an actual roof. So just so y'all know, there's actually a couple roofs in DA already. They are object roofs. These are, there's a round shingled spire roof, right? And there is a kind of just like a regular spired roof, and these can be scaled up. They're kind of neat. You can, tie them together to make like whatever. These can be placed on top of most of the structures, and if you get them just right, one moment, let me scale this. It's hard to put a token under this, but what I'm gonna do is place a token here. We'll just kind of look up into it. So as you can see, like I could technically, oh, I'm stuck on it, have a roof on this and like look up into it. As long as it's an object-based roof, it's totally possible. So if you're willing to place the object by hand, yes, you can totally do it. Now to supplement this on the workshop, if you go to the Steam Workshop tab and then go to Browse Assets right here and type roof, there is quite a few options. And there's even collections of roofing, so you can, oh, these ones here are really cool. They're shadows, so they block out the exterior sunlight. So it blocks the shadows from getting inside. So it's essentially a sunblock, a UV filter, if you will. So there's all sorts of different roofing in here, 3 pages of roofing that you can download that are prefab that can supplement for the time being. No Moniker, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Okay. Let's get back to building here. So I'm gonna put this little end table over there. And then I think I want to start fleshing this, no pun intended, to kind of add more stuff to this room to make it feel more interesting. There's all these neat new like alchemist tools. Anything in here jump out? Sometimes I just like get lost looking at all our objects. I mean, then the collisions on that particular one may not be that great. Just try a different one. There's lots of different roofing, you know? Not all of them are perfect by any means, as they are user shared. Some of them, aren't nearly as good as others. Let's see. Man, I really don't know what to add in this space. So give me some suggestions, people. I want to put some neat little magical items on this level. A piano, interesting. Now this is the bedroom of this tower, so a piano could work. Let's take a look. Kind of big. I do want to say this. I'm going to set aside a space that I want to have a kind of like a ladder going up, because I plan one floor above this. That will be a what is it? It's going to be an observatory, the next floor. So ultimately, I do have to kind of set aside a space for that. In fact, I should probably plan ahead for that right now. Let's see. Oops. Doesn't seem to want to snap on those edges. Weird. Swedish Cookie, are you here, man? I can't get this to snap onto the top of the roof. That's not doing it. Here, let me disable collisions. If I can get it to snap. It's not snapping onto the wall. That's weird. Well, I'll worry about it in a minute. Let's try another one, see what happens. It'll snap on the floor below, but not this one. Weird. They do. Uh-oh. You like this, Rev? Shrink it down and we'll just see. It's weird. Not even recognizing the wall as a top piece. I got an idea that might be able to fix this. Check this out. Abstract. We're gonna put this right here. And then I'm gonna put an invisible. I'm just gonna put a blank PNG. What's invisible? And I was hoping that it would see it, get up on top of it there, but that is the height. Weird. That's weird. The last few stacked on the floor on this wall below them. No worries. I'll figure it out, my friend. Good to know the bed clips. Possible. It's very possible, Gore. Kind of like that angle. Something like this right here. Oh, so close. First try. It's not bad, actually. Wow. I like it. What do y'all think? Does that look good? Other than the bed there, of course. Stinks. I shrunk the bed. No! Can't win. Pretty good, though. Yeah, that's true. I could pick a smaller bed, but it's quite literally the wizard bed. I was just trying to, you know, get my wizard on. I like that. That's a good idea. So you just put something on top of it that would block it. The next floor is going to be the observatory, so maybe I could find some place to do that for sure. Asmodeus, you think you're clever. You think you're clever. There's a loo. It's possible the bed was the problem. Doesn't want to find that snap point anywhere at any angle. Oh, did it for a split second and then just... It's arguing with me. It's no worry, my friend. I'm working with what I got here. So let's start decorating. Because these always had something. I got an idea of how to make that work. This is what I'm gonna do. Go into the abstracts again. But we need this to be exactly... That's pretty close. Okay. Oh, come on, man. It just keeps jumping on top of it no matter what I do. I think I'm gonna just put it right there and make it invisible. I wanted it inside of the staircase. Will it? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Still too high, though. But we're getting there. Yep, Rev, correct. Rev asks... this would need to be multiple exports, one per floor. Correct. So the whole point is I'm designing these in a way that you can pull each floor off and then export. As soon as I move it, just like, or even try and snap it, it immediately has a fit. Ah, so close. So close, but so far. What the junk? Okay. I am not going to mess with that any further. Where did the abstract go? Oh. Okay, I've lost it. I have, well, see, the thing is I have this as a snap point. This entire room is a snap point. So I built it on a snap point so everything could snap right in and realign. That was kind of part of the plan around the build the whole time. It's just being wonky at this one. I don't know why. All the rest had something to support it, though, so it seems like that's part of the problem. I'm going to experiment with it later after I decorate the room. If I use the green flat plane, then I can't go through. The thing is each of these points are like the colliders allow me to pass through. Let's see here. Telescope. Yep, totally covers it. You're right. I get you. Okay. I'm going to just leave that there. That's kind of the plan. Oh, yeah. So the lovely Mrs. Mac has been making me a rooftop that's spired with a cutout in it, so it will be able to poke the telescope out when all's said and done. Because this is where the spired roof will be on top, but imagine a spire like this with a slat cut out where there's a place for the I mean, I could put the floor by hand really easy, and there is numerical placements for vertical values. It's not like we're avoiding it. We're heading towards that slowly. Remember, early access means things are gradual and get added piece by piece. So as we go through each update, we add sections and kind of foundational layering. As we update, each new update adds more and more functionality and makes it feel more full. Anyway, let me move this to the side and then save. Now let's get back to decorating this floor. Okay, I'm thinking here. Bit of treasure up here. Oh yeah, I save regularly. By the way, I hope y'all have set up your... Oops, sorry, wrong one. Hope y'all have set up your autosave. If you go into settings, there's now an autosave section. So you can set it up for 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, or if you want to play, risky, 1 hour intervals. When you save the changes, if you have the map saved as an actual name and a location, yep, you have to save it once. So once you've set up a save location, given it a name, then it'll back up the map at the interval you've set. I like that better. Kind of recentered this stair between these lights. feel like I've gotten pretty much nothing done to, but I've shown a lot of different techniques and tips and tricks across the board today, so it wasn't a complete loss. Right? We are teaching how to be master cartographers. Let's see here. Take this more than we can. That looks pretty good. Okay. What can I put on this table? Put like this cool ornamental tome. Pretty dope. There are some other very cool books that were in the update. I don't know if y'all seen all the books that are in here now. Holy cow. Lots of books. Books. But I like this one. Plus on the flesh table, it seems so much more fitting. Okay. We do kind of have a Necronomicon. One time I put the eyeball we have on a book to make it, I guess this has an eye on it now, to make it look like the book from Hocus Pocus. That eye actually does move a little bit over time. But we have an eye in DA, this one here, and I downsized it and put it on a book for a Hocus Pocus build, and it was genius, I think. Something like this, so it moved around quite regularly. But yeah, that one moves semi-regularly. So I'm thinking a display case, right? Like one of these. That one looks pretty good. Oh, thank you. Okay, so Steam. Yeah, Kalshny asks, what kind of, will there be performance optimization in the future? Yes, most definitely. Every update gets performance updates and improvements, quality of life improvements. And yeah, so as we release each update and go forward, each one of them includes quality of life improvements, performance improvements. For instance, the last update included a major overhaul to our Steam Workshop assets and how how DA integrates with that and behaves with it. In fact, I'm sure a lot of you noticed that if you were subscribed to a lot of assets, the load times around DA are much faster and efficient now. Do keep in mind, though, if Dungeon Alchemist has minimum system requirements, so if you are having trouble with something like that, Kalshny, that you might want to compare your specs against the minimum requirements. And then another thing to keep in mind, Dungeon Alchemist maps, they kind of scale based on specs. So if you're trying to build a massive 100 by 100 map, you'll probably almost always struggle, even with a powerful machine. So I depending on the size of the map, the scope, the quality, how many assets and effects, can all very drastically affect how well it performs or how well it runs. Centimar, particularly, I love your feedback on this because you know, you were a power user with uploads. You know, you saying it's improved means a lot to me. So, Kaushni, if you go to the settings menu, first off, set DA to low quality. That'll help include, improve performance. You can also go in here and disable natural animations. That'll stop the sway of trees, the flow of water, etc. That gives you a few more frames. And then keep in mind, the more zoomed into a map you are, the less you have to render at any given point. Just like any video game, when you're zoomed out, like more often than not in a video game, you're only loading like a localized area of a map, right? Like let's say you're playing GTA or a shooter of any kind. Your game, your localized console, your computer only loads small segments of the game, right? Like a splinter of the game in any given moment. And as you move, it loads out those new segments. So in DA, you're actively loading the entire map and every object and effect on it simultaneously. It's not the same comparison comparing, say, like a video game and how well it runs with your computer to how Dungeon Alchemist runs on your computer. So, yeah, flashlight rendering is a great example of what you can see with a flashlight is how much is rendering. You know, at night when you shine a flashlight, it's kind of like your eyes only render what the flashlight can see. So in a video game, they do essentially the same thing based on what you're looking at, and the area you're at is all that's loaded, technically, in most cases. So, when Dungeon Alchemist is a massive map with tons of assets and you're zoomed out like this, yeah, you're going to see a performance decrease. If you, like even the most powerful rigs will see a performance decrease because it's not really a video game, it's a real-time 3D environment rendered in real time. So it's essentially, you know, kind of vastly different than a pre-rendered environment. So yeah, a lot of these things are things to take into account, but stay focused on the area you're building to improve performance, because if you're localized, on this one spot, it'll make it a lot easier for your computer. Like I'm running with a 4070 Ti, 128 gigabytes of RAM. I still have issues once in a while. I try to treat DA like a 3D render program. You know, like if you're rendering cycles of 3D data, even a small, simple object can take, hours and hours to properly render. Thank you, display name. I got some good breadcrumbs for you, actually, Amon. Amon on Twitch says, I made a gingerbread house on the fly for my fairy forest and only struggled to find object for breadcrumbs. So let me show you what I would use. If you go into the nature tab here on DA, right? You go to rocks. Under rocks, we have these little guys, the pebbles, right? But look for the sandstone ones. The sandstone rocks have the unique property of being able to have color shifting. They're one of the only rocks that allow you to shift their coloring. So you can make them coal, you can make them snow, you can make them anything in between. These kind of look like cookies. Or cookie crumbs. And you can make them smaller or larger, and then just hold shift as you place them. You got some crumbs. You use these too? Well, that would be my suggestion. So, Dad on TikTok says, love your app. Thank you so much, Dad. Lucky Leg Luke says, I've been running D&D Homebrew for over a year. I use Alchemist maps exported on a TV in the table. That is awesome. So do you do video loops or do you just do a still image with like the grid on it? But yeah, someone was asking about the mirrors. Let's add a mirror in here. A mirror on this level would be a good idea. It's his bedroom. You know, the wizard's not vain, but he still likes mirrors. So let's put one next to his bed here. Or maybe like a little wash basin with a mirror. Ooh, yeah, that one looks good. This one's pre-decorated. Let's do this one. Pop it in there, right? shrink it down a little bit though, because it feels ridiculously large. And then if you want to look at the reflection, goodness, oh no, please don't crash. Please don't crash. What is going on? Yeah, lucky leg, Luke, you can on the export menu if you change from image to video, and then you can just play that like on a video loop. Just set it to repeat, and it'll just repeat constantly. Do that with the grid. And so here we go, and first into this reflection here. It's kind of like, think of like an old school mirror wouldn't have been perfect. Old mirrors were often just polished metal, or, you know, like the first mirrors were like poured silver. Like a silver mix amalgamation, and it would be poured on like a glass. But they still do that to this day, but it's much more refined and pristine image. So mirrors today versus mirrors in the past weren't nearly as, you know, like they're totally different. But the reflections are very active and detailed. That's the bed right here. The thing to consider though, if we made them much more detailed, like a real, like beautiful real-time reflection, like it would be a modern mirror, it just is too much data to render. Yeah, the autosave would have saved me here, but speaking of which, I should save again just in case. Do they reflect minis now? Because they didn't before. Oh my gosh, it does. I see it in it, but let's look in it, because when you're in first person looking in it, yeah, it reflected my back. So let me turn around, look at it, and then do this. So when you move the mini, the reflection is kind of a stuck in place, so it's not an active, like live reflection. Does that make sense? So it is like a screenshot still in time before you went there. But yeah, it's like a polished copper, exactly. You get it. But yeah, Lucky Leg Luke, if you go to the export menu here, go to just instead of image, like you've probably been doing, just go to video. Or if you use a virtual tabletop on your TV tabletop, Foundry and Fantasy Grounds offer video exports as well. But yeah, just if you're just playing through like Windows Media Player or something on a loop, just do this. Very easy. And I would do a WebM because that can scale the map size infinitely. The MP4 has a limitation of 2048 by 2048. So do this here, right? And yeah, set that up on a loop. And it'll loop all the fire, the trees, the water, stuff like that, animated objects. Glad to hear it, Lucky. Glad to hear it. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm not missing any chat. Is YouTube coming through at the moment? I haven't seen any YouTube come through in a while. I'm going to refresh the chat just to make sure I haven't been missing y'all. I'm sorry if you've been saying anything YouTube and I missed it. Sometimes the YouTube chat gets sticky and doesn't come through. Mitch, I'm confused by that. You're noticing that I'm 4 floors high right now, right? With this build, it's quite possible by hand to make floors quite high. You know, 4 or 5 floors, easy. So if you're willing to, you know, roll up your sleeves and do a little bit of work by placing the objects, then yes, you can totally do multi-floor right now with Dungeon Alchemist. But if you want AI support for that, our next update will most likely address that. Hey, I see Bo and Seisu's messages coming through, so at least it's working now, and Facebook's coming through. So if it wasn't before, it is now. I wish TikToks came through too. That would be like the perfect situation. But the cool thing about this, Mitch, is this building is totally navigable. I've designed it in a way that every floor can be walked through and navigated. And you can pull it apart and export each level one at a time, just kind of save them as a new level and export them as such. And this allows you to much easy. In my opinion, it makes it much easier to navigate the space. Oh no! Noticing there's a little on the bottom. Anyway. That Dryo, that is a good way to play. Like, a lot of DMs will follow along in first person and stream it to their players, or they'll just play in DA exclusively and they'll move their players' tokens. If you're playing in person on a TV tabletop, it's also great, you know, because you can just do the grid and they can move their tokens. So there's lots of options. Okay. This looks really good, but I want to get back to building this floor out. Let's keep decorating. So we've got a little display case here. Ooh, I want a broom. A broom of flying. So we could have one just sitting up next to the bed here, like this, right? Clearly this broom, which would be floating. What other cool magical items should I add to this guy's, like, bedroom? And other just regular items, too. It is a bedroom, after all, so we need some things. A cloak? You know what, Dyson? I agree. A cool cloak. We could do one of these ones, like right here. That one looks pretty cool. Like, that looks dope. By the way, one of these is customizable. So this one here, you can actually go through and there's images on our website, which they didn't put the link in here. I'm really irritated about that. Can you drop the link for that, Seisu? For the abstracts? But if you go to our website where the abstract images are, there are templates down at the bottom here for those portions of the clothing. So you can make custom clothing. Well, at least a custom cloak, I should say. Custom cloaking. I'm wondering if this will work. And we just put that blank abstract in there, right? Aha! It worked! Still a little too tall, though. Yep. Yep. That one does fit on top now. So, by the way, these round floor pieces were actually shared on the Steam Workshop, which all of you have access to. If you go in here to browse collections, it says tower building assets. There's a bunch of like round banisters. That's where this floor, this one, they all are part of this build. The only floor that is stock in DA is the floor on the bottom, which is like a stone floor, but the walls are stock in DA. I got those under, if you go to Objects, Structural, and Round Construction, these bad boys right here are the walls that you're seeing in the build. But yeah, what I did here, the abstract objects, if you place these, you can insert images into them. And before this was released, I was like, hey, you know, what if we put a blank image? Just a blank, transparent PNG with nothing, no pixels in it. And that's what we did there, allowing me to, I made a false kind of like floor to place the other one on top of it. So we've got a cloak. I like the cloak. Got a little cool scythe. Yeah, these can be, you can do all sorts of things with these. You can insert custom templates into these. So someone made like a custom door. So that's a door that's inserted into that. And these can be rotated. But now these were kind of a stopgap measure until people could import their own assets. And now that you can import assets, I mean, there's doors, there's hatches, there's all sorts of stuff available on the workshop. I think there's over 4,000 3D models on the workshop now. Yeah, 4,258 actually. Okay. I'm going to save this because I haven't in a minute, and then we're going to get back to building. Let's see here. Maybe a bathtub? Bathtub seems like... I hate that there's not a bathtub in the bathroom area. Something like this. Cartographer, how you doing, buddy? Been up to, brother? How was your stream today? I saw you were live earlier. I did not have a chance to drop in, or I would have done so. By the way, you have until the 21st, cartographer. Yeah, I was gonna... That's a great suggestion, Asmodeus, and some towels, too. I was thinking maybe something like this. Like a bathroom table, like a little end table right at the end there. Y'all are funny. Yep. We will definitely be expanding upon this. I want to do that for sure. So we've got a bathtub. I want a... It's... What is it called? I think it's under structural. And if you go down here somewhere, not tents. Woodwork, maybe? No, it's not under structural. And I can't remember what it is, but it's like a... What do they call it? It's not a divider. I know what you're talking about. It's like a wooden... What is it called? Panel. Panel. Let's try it. No, that's freestanding door. Those aren't the ones I'm after. Freestanding walls. I know what it is. I've seen it before, but I don't know where it's at. Let me look around. Partition. Nope. Screen. There we go. Curve screen. That's it. Paravent. Paravent. There's some other ones here. So there's like an access point on the back, right? Well, does that look neat or nah? It seems weird for a private home. But I also like it. It's just a neat little addition. Ooh. Hey, BB, how you doing? Glad I caught your stream the other day. Didn't we used to have a duck? Hmm. I love how you can see the towel in the mirror there. The rubber duck. Yeah, before we launched the importer, I'm pretty sure. Duck. This guy. Right here. Yeah, that's a good idea, Asmodeus. Problem is the shelves... Ugh. Don't snap as well as we'd like them to here. So, basically, in order to get this to snap, let me show you what I've had to do to work around this. Because they only detect the bottom floor snap points, same with lamps, too. So I could do like one of the curved bookshelves, but they're too big for this spot. So I was thinking like a little shelf, something like this that I would have float, but it's only attaching to the bottom floor. So again, I gotta rely on abstracts to get something I want. Essentially what I'm gonna do. Place an abstract right there, right? I'm going to insert a blank PNG into this abstract to make it invisible. And now it is a snap point for shelving. Well, it was, dang it. Here, let's move it down here. We'll snap it and then we'll bring it up. Oh, it's because collisions are off. That's why. Still. Even with collisions. Oh my gosh, it is snapping. What? Okay, prior to the update, this would not snap. So that's good. Let's see if we can get this to snap. Right here. One won't. Okay. Try this one. Too high. I like that. Okay, we'll do that one. Snap one there, snap one there. And then we'll build the bath space around that. I see a Swedish cook. So what I was gonna do is use this as an invisible snapping point, because then I could snap it on there and turn this invisible and then just tuck it into the wall. That's what I had to do on a lower floor, which I might fix now. Which shelf should I use, though, is the real question. That's really cool. So prior to this, the upper floor snapping points were a no-go. You couldn't. Even that one's still problematic. That one's nice and low. I like that one. Let's see what other variants of this we have. Some candles and books. Like, I totally could see a wizard having books by the bath, right? That makes sense. I'm gonna do the candle one for this one. And we'll put some books and other things on it, like this bottle here. There, and a towel. We'll put some books on. Books! His precious volumes. So you can get those eureka moments, if you will. What do y'all think of the bath? I think that looks nice. Open to any and all feedback, but ultimately I think this turned out pretty good for a little bathing space. I do wish that there... Oh, you know what? There could be. The invisible abstract thing is going to come in clutch. Trust me. So we're going to do it again, but with the cube. I'm going to place the cube in this water until it's roughly the water's height. Move it right there. Make it invisible. And then I'm going to put the rubber duck on top of it. There we go. Now it's all floating as one solid piece. This is what's critical here, is moving this as a solid structure. Steam, I like that idea. And now that there's an abstract here, guess what I could do? We'll go to the effects. Abstracts have this unique property of being able to move effects with them. Do I, Rev? Thank you. I'm assuming you're the same Lord Rev over on TikTok, right? Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Okay, so we've got steam. You know what else could be really useful here? We need something that is some wine. A little bit of wine by the bath, right? I got a washcloth right here. So we do have a washcloth, and then I've got some like kind of soaps here, bath salts or whatever, you know. I don't think we actually have a bar of soap, right? We have soapstone. We could add another bottle or two to kind of just give it like there's different things. I really like this though. It's a good vibe over here. I think I'm going to turn down the brightness of this candle just so it's not like overburdening. Little drawstring thing. That looks pretty neat. This one here kind of looks drawn back. More raggedy. Plus we can change the color. I like that kind of tealish right there. This duck, unfortunately, cannot be changed. This was an asset I found on the workshop, so it comes in that color. I'm assuming someone could take a duck and, you know, import it to the workshop like that. But unfortunately, that just comes as the stock color it came in. Put another washcloth over here. Maybe in the tub, right? I think overall we got a good little vibe here with the bath. I do want to decorate some more stuff in here. We need some clothing and a couple other little magical objects in here, right? His old cap from his school days, right? Is there a bath tray? You know what? There isn't, but I'm sure we could make something like this serving tray work pretty good. You know, I know what you're talking about. Ones that slat over the top. They're really fancy, and I agree that would be really cool. Fortunately, we don't have something like that. It's a good idea, though. Cutting board could work. Yes. Something like that. Looks really nice and clean. But the problem is there's no colliders on the side of the tub. The only collider exists is that invisible cube I've made. Let me make... Ooh, we could drain the water even? What? Make it lava. Let's make it blood. Dirty. Very cool. I think it'll be easier to just take a fresh abstract cube for this. I'm going to do this again. The abstract cubes are coming in clutch here. So I'm going to shrink this down to roughly bathtub height. Do something like that. Now it seems to be kind of like on the edges there. No! Where'd I put it? Kind of big. Not gonna lie, it just feels too large. Do a stone slab. Not gonna lie, that looks pretty baller. Oh, it needed to be on top of that. Put some food on this, huh? Thinking some chicken? Or a steak? Or maybe like some pie? Only snacks in the tub. A wizard eats exactly where they like. Weird. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Hope y'all are enjoying the bath. Spent entirely too much time on it. A washcloth. I'll put the wine down here. So if I take the wine off the shelf and put it down on the tray, right? Like this. What should I put here? Oh, I got some ideas. There's like neat little items all through here, right? We've got like a bathroom set of items. You do like a brush or a mirror or something. Little hand mirror. Be the end of the world. Could do a brush or maybe one of these little perfume stoppers. Looks really good up here, actually. Let's do a brush. Yeah, the tub got a little too intense, but I like it. I think it looks fancy. Looks really clean. Let's save that. Plus, the bedroom I feel like should have a lot of like personal details. You know what I mean? Actually, instead of this brush, I'm gonna do a comb. That looks nice. I think this bathtub looks dope. I definitely enjoy a bath here. Okay, so let's save. Make sure we're all saved. Good, clean save. Now, let's add a couple other things to this room. Maybe a little cage for like a bird or something, like a pet, like a familiar. No, the familiar wouldn't have a cage, would it? You could put like a helm or something over here by his stuff. Remember, I gotta decorate his little room with items. So here's his old cap from school. Here's like a helm. The dog bed, right? We gotta give Seymour a spot, don't we? Where is he? Let him on the bed where he sleeps. Pretty spoiled. The dog bed? What do you think? You're moving down there. That's awesome. Okay, so we got a bath. We've got an entrance to the upstairs. Let's fill this up. I'm just gonna fill this up with like linens and things to make it feel like there is clothing, because we don't really have any like folded clothes. Like, really, we have like bolts of cloth. You know what I mean? So I gotta work within the confines of what I have. Hey, Tellers, how you doing? Hmm. Hmm. I don't really know what to put in this level. Thinking about it for a minute. Look at some of these magic items. There might be something that we could use that would look. End table there. Hard to see. Yeah, the black mark. A little bit easier to. Just envelop his cloak in fire. No reason, just for fun. Hmm. No, there is no dagger. It's a wand, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's creepy. Feels like whatever it is just kind of piercing the veil there. let's look at some furniture and see what we can add up here. Apothecary cupboard or something. Yeah, but it doesn't negate the fact that it's still quite possible to do curved walls. Ever since our new update came out, you can draw curved walls at least for the base level of a building. Close. What's going on with these? Why won't they set down anywhere? A weird collider. That's cool. I swear. We have a whole bathroom section, but no towels in it. Like, where are the towels at right now? Where are they? Like, I know we have them, I just want to know where they're at. That's the problem. Anyway. We're gonna find them. Right now. Not in Taylor's tools. Housekeeping has a couple of towels. Here we go. There we go. We located them. But yeah, it should also be under bath. Well, at least we found them, right? All right. Getting some good little progress here, but it's sadly we're going to have to wrap up for the day. Alrighty. Terradol, that's not the problem, that's the point of the object workshop, is to allow people to expand their asset collection to be whatever period or aesthetic they want. There's plenty of fantasy, there's also some that lean into sci-fi, modern, cyberpunk, futuristic, all sorts of stuff, but there are plenty of fantasy stuff on there too. Ultimately, though, just bear that in mind when you are looking through assets on the workshop, that they will be an assortment of things that are designed to kind of help fill the gap in between. Essentially empowering our community and giving them more choices. I mean, at this point, realistically, you could go source, medieval rubbish, medieval broken stuff, and then add it yourself if you wanted to, using the asset importer, which is available to anyone. And then at that point, if you want to, you can either share them or just keep them locally. So there's one method here is you can either locate the assets or you can try and make them yourself using like Blender or Tinkercad. So there are some ways around it if you are wanting more. We have given you the option to do so, but it does take a little bit of work, especially learning these tools, because they're not something that you just learn overnight for sure. STL files don't have textures. STLs are all like just a bunch of flat surfaces. Black leather backpack. This is such an edgy wizard. FBX or GLTF/GLB. If you import an STL file, it will like be gray, like this flat gray color, like this. And then we've incorporated a bunch of color filters that you can apply to it. That's what STLs will look like. Whereas if you incorporate an actual colored or detailed model, they can be animated. Like this is animated and has different options for it. They can be still, they can be color or non-colored assets, so they could be just blank or none. Actually, STL work great too for not just statues. Across the board, they're very useful. Essentially, let's say you have player tokens that you put in. You can then use these colors to indicate like statuses, like poison or, you know, like things like that. So essentially, each of these colors could indicate a status. And it's a great way to quickly recolor or repurpose tokens on the fly or assets on the fly. But yeah, primarily that stuff is focused around. Well, do you want the tokens to be full color? Or do you want to be able to switch between the STL palette that's just a solid color across it? Or would you want it to feel more like these Hero Forge or Bite the Bullet tokens that are detailed? So traditional tokens would be a gray like this, right? They're like a flat gray. Here, let me grab one from the workshop so you can compare. You go on the workshop and just look at any of them. Any of these 3D models here. Especially under the token section. I'm trying to find one that looks. This one's gray. So it's most likely an STL. I do wish it said what type it was, STL, FBX, like the file name here. Like the file format. So at a glance, you could look at it and just be like, oh yeah, but here, realistically, it's pretty easy to tell. So this is what an STL one will look like. You can change the color like this, but it's only a single color, so like an army man, like that, you know? Or if you use FBX or GLTF/GLB, you can import full color. Seisu, any of the mods, Asmodeus, can you drop the wiki link for our friend here? All right, everyone. Is that time of the stream to wrap it up? Yeah, just a few months ago, we had a member of our community that was like, I don't know how to make 3D models, and I don't think I ever will. And then I challenged them to try, and now they've made like hundreds of 3D models. They really enjoy it. So it's quite possible to dive into it. There's tons of tutorials and stuff on the web. And we actually have a tutorial series that should be hitting our YouTube pretty soon, within the next week or two. I finally had some time to work on that. But that was actually Asmodeus put together a little series of trainings that kind of guide you through playing around in Blender and then taking that model into DA. Anyway, I think it is time to wrap up the stream, unfortunately. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you all, though. Thank you so much for being here. Dirty clothes. Had a lot of fun hanging out, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me as we built this floor today. We'll move on to the observatory next week after we tidy this up. I think I'm going to just do some finish work on, like, you know, like this little area here. And other than that, we're pretty close to finished. So thank you so much for participating in this week's Mapmaker Monday. I hope you learned something during today's stream. We covered a lot of topics, you know, multiple floors, round rooms, object tricks, and things like that. But thank you again for participating in community initiatives, whether it's, you know, these streams here on the various platforms that we offer, or community surveys, giveaways, etc. In fact, a community survey should be posted hopefully today or tomorrow. We're going to be pinging across our community, asking you what you think about our next update and what you might expect from it. So stay tuned and kind of keep an eye out for that. Should be out today, hopefully. I was finalizing that this morning. Anyway, we will see you Wednesday is the next stream. That'll be office hours. That is a Discord exclusive stream. So, if you're not a member of our Discord and you want to take advantage of this stream, make sure you hop over there and join. Can you drop some Discord links across the platforms, please, Seisu? The Discord is our largest amalgamation of Dungeon Alchemist fans. There's tons of GMs, DMs, just DA fanboys and fangirls who are sharing their knowledge and insight, sharing maps, sharing assets, giving each other guidance. And their staff, myself, the devs, and an amazing team of moderators providing support all the time there. We have dedicated channels for support. But once a week on Wednesday, we offer a kind of a lighthearted stream called Office Hours, where it's essentially designed to be support and AMA format. So you can ask me anything related to Dungeon Alchemist. I'll do my best to answer it. Plus, if you need help and guidance, I'll stream and walk you through helping you out right there. You can share your map with me. I can open it up, etc. So, if you're interested in some, some hand-guided walkthroughs, Wednesday is the way to do it. Make sure you join us there. Thank you, everyone, for participating today. Whether you were actively chatting and providing support, or you were lurking. All across the board, you were very important to me as a community member and a viewer here on the stream. So thank you so much for participating. Again, my name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making utility and immersion tool available on Steam. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye. Bye.